Hello, my friends. How you doing? Thanks for coming to our live stream. I'm Rachel Archelaus, founder of the Intuitive Art Academy, creator of this Hello Love YouTube channel. Thanks for coming over here today. And we have Carrie Roldan. She's the business BFF. She's an incredible track and cross-country coach. You want to say hi?
She's looking slightly bald today, but it's just in my running clothes. Yeah, how was I described the other day? Fairy godmother on call or something. Yeah, I'll take that as well.
Yes. So Carrie and I do a lot together. And when we notice themes, we like to bring them to you. So stop trying has come up a lot lately. And it was the biggest lesson for me this year, because I did stop trying even more than I've ever stopped trying before, because this is an ongoing thing. You can do this on many levels. And so much greatness has happened because I stopped trying. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to get things moving when you're throwing everything at everything and nothing is changing. The soulmate's not coming, the friends, the money, the whatever. If you're at a standstill, you're probably trying too hard. So we're going to talk about that today. And I don't know if we should reveal the secret word yet, or maybe leave that for later. What do you think, Carrie?
Let's leave it for later. First, I was like, secret word. What is that? I remember, but yeah, let's leave it for later. And if you're here, say hello. I just now am opening the comments and I see Guillaume and Corinne here. So hello. And yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. And the same for me, Rachel. I think that we do this regularly. Like we stop trying and then things happen and then we pick up try again. Right. So I know I'm in the same boat and I think we need to talk about when we say we're not trying, what that really means. But I'm in the same boat and the same has happened for me. Before we went live, I was just telling Rachel, like I'm not using the right words when I say I've given up on everything. So I haven't actually given up on anything, but I've given up trying in pretty much every area of my life and business, except for one that's actually the place that's giving me some issues. Man, things are going great. Like things just keep getting better and better. And I know we talk about this a lot on this channel. Actually, we're on Hello Love, so we haven't talked about it as much, but yeah, I'm surprised and delighted and amazed still that the less I do, the more that gets done. And the less I try, the easier things happen. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. So let's give a few scenarios. All right. In my own personal life, I've been creating a business now, this business and all of its components, Intuitive Art Academy, YouTube, my coaching and all that, for almost 10 years. And I remember in the beginning not knowing much, like not really knowing how to be online, how to get myself out there, right? And so I tried a lot. I tried a lot of different things. There's that saying trial and error. And sometimes that's really nice because then you can feel out what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And so I'm not crossing trying off completely because we get a lot of feedback trying different things, trying different outfits, trying different hairstyles, right? Like we're humans, we're going to try at some time. But when we reach an impasse, when everything stops, or when you're not making any headway anymore, that's when you really want to think, what am I doing right now that is causing me to, bump up against some invisible obstacle? Why aren't things flowing, right? When the flow stops, then something's going wrong. So over the years, I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried to do business other people's way, using their prescriptions, their blueprints. I've tried being less weird. That's a big one for a lot of people. Like, how could I offer this? This is too weird. Nobody's looking for this. Anytime you're trying to fit yourself into a mold, or you're trying to be what you think people want, red flag, red flag. Never ever try to be what other people want. Never try to even create what you think other people want to buy. Never works. So that's all trying, like trying. You are trying to create the path for you instead of receiving it. Let's see, I wrote down some stuff. You're trying to fit in, you're trying to succeed, you're trying to curate yourself. All of these things involve you micromanaging you and your path. And that's the part that we don't need to do. And not only do we not need to do it, it gets in our way. When everyone says, like, get out of your own way, that means put all that down. Stop trying to do that. Stop trying so hard to be something other than your natural self. And it's hard because we've grown up in a society that says to work hard. My dad used to say, give it the old college try before I was in college. And I had to write this down because I didn't want to forget it. This feeling, you guys, of it takes less energy to be you. So it feels like you're giving up. It feels like you're giving up when you stop trying. And the feeling of giving up, we're taught, isn't good. That means defeat. That means failure. But that's really not the case. It is a secret word that we're going to talk about soon. But I just wanted to like set us up here and see where the conversation takes us. Feel free to put any comments or questions in, and we can help you out individually if you'd like. But it's this feeling of, I can't stop trying because that means I failed, which is the opposite of what's actually going to happen for you. And you probably can look back on your life right now and see that. Oh, yeah. When I gave up, when I stopped trying, things actually started moving again and I got happy, or whatever I wanted came in. So I wanted to start there.
Yeah, well, you hit some stuff for me. So oftentimes when we're in these conversations, I recognize there's some word translation issues going on, right? Like words, we attach meanings to words and we don't all attach the same meanings to words. And so when you were like, well, you can try this and try that, I was like, oh, that's a totally different kind of try, right? Like trying it on, trying it out is very different than efforting. And that's what we're talking about here, this idea of like trying it out, trying it on, even the old college try, I sort of think as like just experimenting, seeing, right? In the aligned up level, we talk about, does it go in, right? So trying something new that you've never done before because maybe you were intuitively led to it. Maybe someone gave you some advice, right? Trying it out and seeing, how does that make me feel? Game on, right? Do that. But efforting, the try, and the way I think about it, Rachel introduced me as a cross country and track coach, is like one of the things that I'm working really diligently at teaching my athletes is like, yeah, we are going to work out at a pretty high level. Like we are going to get ourselves tired and we're going to train ourselves to a level of exhaustion. And then we're going to ask you to like keep going, right? And maybe there's a word try that a lot of people would associate with that, but I'm trying, there it is. I'm wanting to disassociate that word try because I am finding that when people believe that they're trying in a physical effort or in a business effort, or there's a tensing, there's a resisting, there's an actual working against yourself. there's the like putting up, like even if I just say, try harder, right? There's like this push against what we already know isn't working. And so that is the distinction we're talking about. And I see all kinds of comments, so I'll stop talking so we can read them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think everyone can relate to this, so we do have a question for later. Guillaume, we'll get to this. How do you manifest goals without trying? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Zach is saying, I've been through a personal revolution the last 2 days. Everything is just fine, and I'm grateful to you both. Meltdown was a needed step, and hope no one got spattered. And Shayna, what we resist persists, what we force resists. Yeah, maybe different ways to say the same thing. Totally. Yeah.
So you want to, I would love to address Guillaume. Do you want to talk about it now?
Sure.
Okay, so Guillaume, I'll tell you my recent story of this. So for the past, gosh, Rachel, I don't know how many years, I have been doing all the right things. Not with my business. I mean, maybe with my business, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm actually talking with my physical body. So I have been intending on a regular basis, writing in my journal every day, like that I am lean and fit and healthy and vibrant. And oftentimes I might put a number on the scale, or I'll say, like, I'll release X amount of pounds, or I'll fit back into X amount of clothes, and I'll do it and I'll feel good. And I'm definitely trying, right? Like, I know that I understand the concept of like needing to relax about it and just let it happen. And yet, in my like intending of that, there was definitely a forcefulness. Like, God damn it, I am going to release these extra 5 pounds this month, come hell or high water. And I'm going to use this product, or I'm going to do that thing, or I'm going to try this method, right? And there was probably a little bit of self-judgment or frustration or excuse making or whatever was going on with that. Point being, for the past month, I was too busy to do my like morning write down all my stuff. And I still had intentions. I was still intending things, but I got out of the habit of writing that same thing every day with that trying energy behind it, with that right? It was definitely a goal, but I also felt every time I wrote it down, I felt the lack of it, right? I would write down, how good I felt about my lean, fit body and my 6-pack abs, and like notice my muffin top, right? So I was there. Anyways, for the past month or so, my schedule changed and I got out of the habit of doing that. And maybe it was a little bit longer than a month. And I've been happily doing all the same things that I had been inspired to do before. I'm still running. I'm still working out. I'm lifting. I'm still taking all the same products. I'm still eating. Actually, I was less concerned with my eating and just like moving along. And the point of the story is I hadn't been on the scale in a really long time because I freaking gave up. I was really frustrated that every time I would get on the scale, it would not say what I wanted it to say. And so I just stopped doing it. So time goes by. And then one day after I work out and I'm getting in the shower, I'm like, I'm going to get on the scale. And I got on the scale. And lo and behold, without even trying, I had lost more weight than I had been writing down in my book. And it had been years of this. And 1 month, maybe 6 weeks, I don't know exactly the number, of not trying, of not thinking about it, of putting it down. It happened. And that is how you manifest your goals without trying. Rachel will talk about the specifics of it probably, but that's how you do it.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about everything I've ever gotten in my life is because I stopped trying to get it. Marie Forleo, one of the things that I saw in a presentation she did was a long time ago, she had a goal to get on Oprah. And it was like her number one goal. She, visited it every day. It was a really big deal for her. And she ascribed getting to 7 figures, getting to $1 million business, in part because she stopped trying to get on Oprah. And what is really happening when we stop trying is that we stop activating the lackful vibration within us. So the law of attraction is super clear. It's super simple. We will manifest into reality. We will realize whatever we are a vibrational match to. It's simple. It's clear. It is always on, like gravity. If something is not coming for you, it's because you are keeping active a vibration that is not consistent with what you want. So trying actually activates a vibration not in harmony with where we want to be. We are trying because we don't have it. We are trying because we want to see it, but we don't. And so the journaling, the affirmations, the attention to something that has our vibration in a lackful place of I don't have it, even noticing I don't have it throughout your day, looking at your bank account and seeing like, oh, it's not there. Or looking at your sales, oh, there's no sales. Like anything, any attention on a vibration that's not matching what you want it to match will keep it active, right? The plant is still growing. Anytime you look at it, that's what's happening. We're growing that momentum every time we look at it. And so that's why we talk about here, it's not what you're doing. It's not even what you're thinking. It's how it feels while you're doing that. So, and it can be really subtle. Like you're really subtle. Getting a sensitive instrument, getting sensitivity to your body and how you feel, I feel like is the number one thing you could do to understand why something is or isn't happening, right? Because for me, for years and years, if I had a money goal, or if I even paid attention to my business income, it would completely shut down 100%. Nothing would happen. Nothing would happen. Even if things were rolling well, if I paid too much attention to it, or if I said, things are going well, I'm going to make this much next month or within the next 6 months. Or I'm going to enroll this many people into my certification. I remember I even had a chart on the wall. I had an Excel spreadsheet. I had I made it colorful. I had little circles for each each person that was going to come in. And before things were going fine, but I wanted to bump it up, right? I wanted to try to make it bigger. I wanted to try to make more money. And every single time I did that, every single time, even though I felt like it felt okay. Like absolutely nothing. And that showed me that I had negative vibrations around enrollment, negative vibrations around money. And if I distracted myself enough and didn't look at any of that, things would roll in fine, right? Because it wasn't activating those specific things. But over time, I realized, I don't have to just leave them there. I can calibrate them. We've talked about calibrating. It's where you're taking a vibration from one place and moving it to another place. And so over the years, I did a lot of calibrating specifically about the things that weren't coming in. And that has helped a lot. And now I can look at my money and I can dream and, things happen. But honestly, I don't have to do much of that. It just keeps growing the more I focus on my general unconditional love, alignment, and all of that stuff. So, there are a lot of things you can do to change and manifest goals without trying. One of them, distract yourself like Carrie did. Just don't focus on the thing that's not happening. Just put it away. Change the subject. And then you'll be able to let it in because you're not activating that negative specific vibration. Or when you are already feeling good, you can only calibrate when you're already feeling good. Otherwise, you're just digging the hole deeper. So please, learn to calibrate when you're feeling already really good. You've probably moved your body, you probably meditated. Then what would you like to see in your life? And think about that. Be more specific when you're feeling good. And the magic word is surrender. I know I've been talking for a long time, but surrender. It's what we're doing here is we're just acknowledging that we have more to us than this. Our higher self, our multidimensional nature has got it all figured out. It's all done. It's all prepared. It's all ready. The path is there. You stay on the path by feeling good, by doing what feels good. That's why it feels so natural. That's why when you give up the, the things you're dragging around and holding and trying to keep spinning, when you put it all down and you just take the step, that feels like relief. It feels like ease. It feels like, oh, okay, finally, I'm just going to put that stuff down for a while. That's when the things happen because you're actually aligned with the part of you that's doing all the work for you.
Yeah. Amen to that. And when you said surrender, I felt a relaxation. And that's what we're talking about when we're like, I just gave it up. I just gave up. And, surrender too has all sorts of connotations. Some people have this like feeling of surrender that feels like relief and relax. And like, I imagine myself in the surrendered state, just like on a raft, floating gently down a river, eyes closed, like letting it, right? Like that's a beautiful, peaceful way to surrender. But I know there's also the idea of surrender, which is like waving the white flag, and it's like it has a different connotation. But the truth is, however you get there, it just means stop fighting, right? It means stop resisting. So even if it is, even Rachel and I are big believers in growing through joy, right? So if I'm going to surrender, I'd rather be on the raft floating down the river than I would like on a battlefield stumbling over myself as I wave the white flag, right? But either way, however you get there, it is just stopping the fight, stopping the try, relaxing, or collapsing. Either. You get to choose. And finally, letting your higher self let in what it's been there's the word, what it's been sending you all along, that your try has been getting in the way of receiving. And Rachel, I did see a comment. I see you writing, but I did want to get to Jessica's comment because I think we can probably help her in the here and now. So Jessica, we've got you. And what are you writing?
I'm just making it easier to visualize. So this is kind of what we're talking about, right? So Jessica, how do I find a job without thinking about it? It's consuming my whole days. I'm so glad you wrote it like that, because that's what happens, right? When we have a problem that we are trying to solve, we're spending time in the problem, right? And it feels like we don't have a choice. I totally get that. Back when I remember, one of my biggest problems used to be money when I was married. And I mean, I had a job, sometimes three, like you guys already know that. But my worst nightmare would be when I'd wake up and something would be wrong with my car. Sometimes I'd have no gas money, which was terrifying. Sometimes, a tire would be flat. Sometimes it wouldn't start. And I didn't have any extra money. And so those days were like total panic. And I remember being there, and it was so hard to get out of this place, right? I was sometimes incapable, and I had to let my partner do it. Like, he'd have to handle it. Because if I was left to my own devices, I would be here and I'd be done, right? So when we're in lack or worry or doubt or confusion, whatever degree it feels like to you, it doesn't have to feel like panic for it to be all consuming, right? But this is what we have access to. When we're here, this is the pool we're in. This is what we will receive. This is what we're attracting. This is the only thing we can see. You guys, you've all lost your keys and then realized they were in your hand, or like right on your desk where you look for them. I look for stuff in the fridge all the time that's right in front of me and I can't see it. we are selective perceivers, right? We can only see where we are. If we think something's lost, we can't find it. If we think we can't find a job, we can't. So if we're stuck here, this is what we can get. So that's why this can perpetuate for a long, long, long time. But if we can change the subject, if we can distract ourselves, if we can, like I used to do, watch a funny video for 30 seconds. TikTok now, oh my God, perfect distraction in your pocket, right? Go watch like a funny dog video or something. there's so many videos. If we can get here somehow, doesn't matter how, but it's most likely going to be changing the subject. Like, make a deal with your brain. Okay, brain, we've had enough time for that. I'm going to take a break. We'll come back to you later. I'm going to change the subject and it's going to be okay. Like, make the bargain if you need to. Find a way to get there. Find a way to get to ease or curiosity or love. Like, go look up, I don't know, your ex and like look at their beautiful face, anything. And then the solution can come in, the ease can come in, the money can come in, the happiness can come in. This is what you will receive. You'll receive the idea that will save your day. You will receive the call that will get you the job, or you'll receive the idea of like, oh, you know what? I did notice a sign there the other day. Maybe I'll call them. Or somebody once years ago told me to call them if I ever was needing something. Like, you can't have access to that here. You'll talk yourself out of it. If you can even see it at all, it'll be like, nope, that's not going to work. Nope, I don't feel good enough to call them. Nope, they'll never talk to me. Whereas if you are feeling better, maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll give them a call. Maybe this will happen. And then the other person who you don't even know will, you know what? They seem great. Let me reach out to them. So it's all about, where is your vibration? Are you cutting yourself off from the solution, or are you opening yourself up to the solution?
So I have a story about that. And then I think it might be fun to just maybe help Jessica get access to some better feelings. Yesterday I was on with a client and it was a big day for her. I messaged Rachel afterwards like, oh, I love days like this. Like, it was the best client day. It was just a really amazing day of her recognizing her own growth and how far she's come. And we spent some time calibrating. And she had something she wanted really, really badly. She wanted it. And she did see it as, I know I need to do this to succeed, right? So she had attached, I can't afford to do this, but I have to do it in order to succeed. So anyways, she really, really wanted it. And we spent this whole call really helping her like tune her vibration. And we talked about all sorts of different things. But when the call was over, we had left that subject. We just sort of put it down. We had kind of left it open-ended. And when the call was over, I felt inspired to message her back a little Voxer message. And I forget what I said, but it was something about, maybe it was about that, or I don't know what it's about. But she messaged me back with like, oh, I want to go to this thing so badly. I want it so badly. And I'll find a way to make it work. And so I messaged her back and was like, hey, what if we didn't want it so badly? Like, what if you just wanted it? What if you just allowed it? And I did kind of say, hey, first of all, we already know you've already created this amazing business. So whether you go to this thing or whether you don't, your life turns out awesome, right? So that's a little bit of surrender, that idea of like, I can let go of my attachment to this thing that I really, really want so badly, right? Why do I want it so badly? Because I think I have to have it in order to succeed. So let's put that down and recognize you're already a success. You're going to succeed if you go to this or not. So anyways, long story long, I said that, and then I said, just relax. Just this openness that we're feeling, just milk the openness. Just relax around it. It'll happen. And it's going to happen in the most amazing way. Like, maybe you'll do this. Maybe 10 new clients will come. Maybe I sort of said all these things. And then I casually said, maybe you have a travel voucher that you've completely forgotten about. And she messaged me back instantly, and she said, oh, I have a travel voucher that I completely forgot about. It was like the solution was there all the time, but she didn't have access to it. And then she relaxed and she opened up and she stopped wanting it so badly and she surrendered it, right? She let go. And there it was. She was like, boom, booking my ticket right now. Got it. Thanks. It was instant manifestation. But the thing was, it was always there. It was always there. She just couldn't find it until she relaxed. And so that's the same for you, Jessica. And I see you've already given us a thank you. So maybe you're already there. But like, oh, there is a job for you better than you're allowing yourself to think about or expect. Like there is something way better than what you're looking for. It is there for you. It is available to you. And Rachel, when you were talking, I kept thinking about the Kardashians and how grateful I am for the Kardashians because they really helped me like expand what I thought was possible in terms of like earning a lot of money, just being whatever, just like doing whatever. Yeah. And so Jessica, I don't even know. When Rachel was talking about you and the job and the letting go, for some reason that Kardashian thing kicked in for me. So if you're a watcher of the Kardashians or not, allow yourself to like imagine what it would feel like to have that Kardashian style life/job, right? That situation where you feel really well compensated and you really love what you're doing and you really love the time of day that you're doing it and the people that you're doing it with, and you feel creative and fulfilled and valued for who you are and relaxed in the doing of your work, like you're capable and competent and there's areas that stretch and grow you, but they're fun. Like that and more is the job that's waiting for you. It's the job that's trying to find you. Oh, yay. Good.
Love it. Yeah, Guillaume was saying that he felt inspired to watch James Bond movies this week. And that is the kind of thing that helps. Like, I know we're business coaches and we're telling people to stop thinking about money, stop thinking about business, stop thinking about everything. Go watch movies, go to the beach, go relax. But yeah, it's honestly.
We're the best business coaches. We're like, slack off, relax, do what's fun, stop working so damn hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, people's businesses take off.
I brought my cat to the vet this morning and I was thinking about this topic and how, I get inquiries for coaching from people and they fill out just like 3 questions because I want to know a little bit about them and what made me an interesting idea as a coach, right? Like, why are you calling me and not someone else? I just like to know. And I went through the list yesterday because I got a new inquiry and I just looked at what everyone else had said, and most people inquire with me because I'm unconventional, because I'm weird. Like someone that we just brought in did it because I wear wigs and like and cool costumey clothes sometimes. And of course, that's not the only reason, but there was a time, and people look at me like I have a friend, Sherry, who I love, who I look at as the same way, but she looks at me as like a fearless person living my best life and not afraid of what other people think of me and just, showing up every day 100%. And of course, I love that about myself, but it's not fearless. It's not 100% all the time. I still have those beliefs that I'm walking through about being too weird or, too strange. And trust me, and then my coaching business and all of this, I'm good now, but 3 years ago, I wasn't this good. And as I'm moving into a new industry of screenwriting, I'm writing all these screenplays about living in a haunted house and being psychic and having an alien come to town and you know, all these different scenarios, and people want to know why are you the one to write this? And I have to say, well, this is my life, and I'm putting myself out there with new people with in a different, you know, plane of mind altogether, to be who I am and to say this is my experience. And I just have to say, like, there comes a point when you just need to surrender because you're working so hard to like manage what's coming out of your mouth or how you show up. And I've never quite been a person to do that so explicitly, but it happens subconsciously, you know. And you're just like, it's like you're grinding yourself down to the point where you're just going to be like, oh, this is exhausting, I'm just going to show up as myself. And so, and that's honestly when everything just starts to happen. You're no longer creating all this resistance around yourself in preparation for conflict, which probably wouldn't even happen, right? Unless you are creating it. So this idea of just like not caring, not preparing, not like creating this whole structure to be something that you're not. Just going in as yourself, being you, letting the people who are going to want to work with you find you because you're you. You know, like my income has gone up a lot this year, and it's because I just gave up. I gave up trying. I gave up. Like I've done a lot less. I stopped blogging a couple of years ago. Like I thought I had to do that for a long time. And, you know, it's just like every scary step I take that involves me doing less always increases my abundance and my confidence and gives me access to time where I can just do more of the things that I want to do, you know? So, and I want to paint this whole picture for you because everything you want is right here for you. And the way to get there is here for you. You just got to relax into it and just like give up all the stuff that you're trying so hard to create and perpetuate, because that's where your real fulfillment is. It's like in you just giving up all the other stuff so that you can actually live the life that you want to live, because it's already here for you and it's already ready for you and you're already ready for it. You just got to like let go of the other stuff.
Yeah, amen. And I want to share my experience of trying to not try or trying to relax. So I just want to love you guys and honor your momentum, because I'm reminded of Guillaume saying, like, how do I manifest what I want without trying? Right? Like, and like when I found out, okay, Carrie, the way to manifest what you want is you got to relax like it's your freaking job. You got to try harder to relax. I mean, you hear that, right? You hear it's oxymoronic, but it's where I was. And it happens. I think it happens because we are in that mode of try. And so that's why I love the word surrender, is because try to relax for me, like, okay, relax. Okay, I'm super relaxed right now. Okay, I'm relaxing, meditating, right? Like that's what I would do. Like I would try to relax. I was still efforting because I had that try mentality that like, okay, I'm going to manifest the crap out of this. And if I have to learn how to, the things that took me a while to get, that I was like trying hard, was like, be patient. So I was like, okay, patient. I'm so patient right now. I'm so patient. Is it here yet? I'm so right. Like that was one. Relax, like all of the things, like don't pay attention to it. Okay, I'm not paying attention to it. I'm so not paying attention to it. Like you don't think about an elephant. Like what did you just think about? You thought about an elephant, right? So like all of that. Anyways, I'm just saying, if that's where you are, hear us and know it's okay to be there. And I spent years there, like, okay, cool, relax. I'm gonna do it. Like, and ask your body what surrender feels like. I'm actually doing that right now. So hold up, people. Just ask your body, what does surrender feel like? What does relief feel like? How does my body feel when it's relaxed? What does it feel like to know that everything works out? That I'm supported? Body, what does surrender feel like? Boy, that's a lot easier. And how I learned that was from you, Rachel. She would say, picture the word and then put it in your body. And that was something that I could do. I could try. I could picture the word and then I could put it in my body. And as I put it in my body would tell me what that word felt like. Magic making. Thanks, Rachel.
You're so welcome. And I just love this, not creating the whole structure to be something you're not. Yeah. And you, like you're saying, it can take time. Like, this isn't something you have to do overnight. It's like the whole idea is just to be gentle with yourself, right? Like, you deserve to feel better. You deserve to feel better, and judging yourself doesn't feel better. So wherever you are is perfect. And I want to talk about, like, okay, so we're not trying. We are giving up. We are letting ourselves be who we are, which might feel really scary, but always works out. So what do I do now? Aside from deliberately aligning with relaxation and surrender and whatever else feels good to you, what if you need a job now? What if you need money now? Like, what if you need some things? And once you are feeling good, so once you've distracted yourself enough, you've gotten to a better feeling place, right? You will get an idea. You will. You don't have to find it. You don't have to look for it. It will pop into your head. Maybe it's take a walk. Maybe it's make a quilt. Maybe it's call a friend. Maybe it's right. But that starts the path. That starts the path. So that is what you do, right? What you do is you feel better, and then you follow the impulses that come from feeling better. That is what you do. And I get that that seems like, can I trust that? But we've seen what happens the other way when we try to manage it ourselves, right? So let's just give a little bit over to our higher self, which is actually the one like, boop, everything into your existence anyway. So maybe you can look at it and like visualize, okay, little me, I'm here on the ground, boots on the ground, that's me. I get to decide what I see by how I feel. So I'm going to feel good, and I'm going to look for all the wonderful things that are already around me. Like, oh my gosh, there's a flower over there, or there's a bee, which maybe some people don't like. But if you like bees, look at the bee. Oh, wow. Like I had a pool when I was growing up, or whatever it is. It can be the tiniest thing. It can be a memory, but look for the good things. And then when you're scanning one day, you're going to see that thing that you wanted to be there, and it's going to be there. And you're going to be supported all along the way. So, like, give up the timeline if you can. Know that you will find what you really need along the path to getting what you want, and you will get what you want. And like, know that your higher self has your back. Your higher self has your back. It's you. It is you. It is a bigger, powerful part of you that you are always connected to, regardless of whether or not you feel it. And like we talked about worthiness inside the aligned up level and what that feels like. It feels like you're in a womb, because you are. Like, you can imagine your higher self all around you, you're just like this little part of it tucked in, but it's carrying you everywhere. Like you are part of this like omnipotent, completely safe, energetic creature, you can call it, right? Like that's you. And you may not identify with that yet, but you might be able to let a little bit of that knowing in of who you really are. And that's just another level of relaxation and trust you can have with yourself that, yeah, everything always has worked out. Like when I realized that I had been so close to absolute financial ruin and disaster so many times in my youth and, starting out as an adult, but that it never actually, we always found the money for a tire. How? I don't know. We always found whatever we needed. We could always eat. And I was like, how is this happen? How is it that every single time I think things are going to go absolutely bonkers, I'm okay? And I started to realize, like, maybe that's what I'm expecting. Maybe I'm only allowing myself just enough to like live and get by. What if I expand my expectation? What if I expect to actually be comfortable in my life? What if I expand to think maybe I could go on a vacation? Maybe I could dot, 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 right? And so that's honestly how I've grown my capacity to have more. It's just realizing I am always supported. I do always make it through. And what else could I actually let myself have?
That is the key, because I think so many of us do get in that place. So that last thing, what you said about what else could I allow myself to have? What more could I allow myself to imagine? And oh, yes. Think about, family patterns, or like people get stuck in the same situations that, they say like you um you manifest or you marry who you think you deserve. Right? Like and where do we learn that? Right? We learn that from our parents, our previous, like we just sort of get stuck in expecting what we've already had. And so like with you and your story, Rachel, you recognize, okay, I am in a cycle of always barely getting by, but recognizing, okay, I'm always barely getting by, but I do barely get by. I get by, right? You found a way to like feel okay in the always barely getting by. So instead of being in like, I'm always barely getting by, the next catastrophe is around the corner, right? You shifted that little tiny thing to like, wow, crazy shit keeps coming up, but I always get by. What if I was supported? What if I allowed myself to do a little more than get by? Right? I'm sure the next day you didn't have, clients knocking down your door or people dropping you off bags of money, right? But that was the thing that started it. I think our last live stream, I don't know, there's a car about asking better questions, right? It's like, that's the better question. It's like, oh, what else could I allow in? And I'm going all the way back to you, Jessica, because I just feel so strongly that the jobs you are looking for are not even close to the job that's wanting you. Like, and so that's the question, is like, ooh, what would be even better? What would be just a little bit better? Or could I let in a lot better? Most people, we tend to let in a little better, and then a little better, and then a little better, and then a little better. But I'm sure open to letting in a lot better. So yeah, Rachel, that last part.
Yeah, growing my expectations has been maybe one of the most challenging parts of all of this, because we do get in a rut. We do have so much momentum over what is happening year after year, right? A lot of people, they can look back on their life and be like, yeah, things have been the same for a really long time. And that's why, right? They're expecting the same thing every day, and life seems to kind of go in day out. It's always the same, but it doesn't have to be like that. But if you're happy like that, there's also nothing wrong with that. But it's interesting to take a look at your expectation. What am I actually expecting to happen? If I'm starting a business, am I expecting clients to call me? Or am I expecting this to be hard? Right? Like, what are you setting yourself up for mentally, right? We're selective perceivers. What are you choosing to perceive? So it's an interesting thing to look at and to just not judge, because even, last year I noticed, like, oh my God, I have this like doomsday scenario in my head still. What is that still doing there? When I would think about the future, think about like the next year, I'd be like, well, you know what? I'm always all right. I've got the savings. If something happens, I'm gonna be okay. And I was like imagining, I was imagining that it'd be okay, but I was imagining something really bad happening. And so I realized, like, that's not working for me. And this year, I have not thought that once. Not once. Like, it's so beautiful when you can realize, like, I have changed where I am, and I have changed my results, what's in my life because of that. It's so powerful to see that your internal work absolutely changes your reality. When you start to notice that, it is unbelievably powerful because you have trust in yourself.
Well, and that's when everything speeds up, right? That's when like manifestation is like, oh, and that, and magic wand, boom. And Rachel, I'm going to quote you to you, because what you always say is when you raise your vibration, you raise your standards, right? So even if we're not aware, like, it's great to ask yourself the question, oh, could I imagine even better? But even if we don't, even if we just focus on putting the feelings into our body, or asking our body to reveal those feelings to us, right? In doing that, we're raising our vibration. If we can ask ourselves about feeling better. Right? One of the best questions Rachel ever asked me was, what's the best feeling you can muster right now? Like, I must have been in a sad state. I probably came with like, I'm working on this and I'm trying to do that. And I used to like show up like this a lot. And she was like, what's the best feeling you can feel right now? And I don't remember what it was, but I know it gave me access to the best feeling I could feel right now is this, which then allowed a little more of that, and then a little more of that. And it was like, boom. And so anyways, all I'm getting at is the same thing we get at in every call we ever have, right? Feel better now. How can I feel better now? And that might mean surrendering the try. What would feel better? Giving up. I used to help entrepreneurs launch their businesses with webinars. And every time we would get to the place where they would have their moment where they were like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to quit. And I called it the F it moment, where they were just like, F it. I'm over it. I'm not going to do it anymore. And I would be like, finally, thank God, congratulations. Now we can get to work. Because that's where the real power is, right? When you give up making it hard and trying to do it right, and you just relax into what feels good.
I love that, because that is such a big question that I ask myself. Like, what do I really want right now? Not what do I think I need to do to get to where I think I want to go, which is what most people are operating from, and I fall into all the time too. What do I really want right now? And that is the best question to ask yourself when you're trying to manifest anything, like a business, income, soulmate, friends, what to do with your day, like anything, anytime you can. What do I really want to do right now? Do I really want to do blah, blah, blah? Do I really, if I could do this any way I wanted, what would it look like? I love Carrie's example of trying hard in her business for a long, long time, doing it right. She's a really smart lady. You know what I mean? Like, it would seem like, yeah, of course, if Carrie puts her mind to something, it's going to happen. But resistance is real, folks. The resistance is real. When she said, you know what I really want? I really want to just show up and be awesome. What do you think happened? Magic, real success, ease, happiness, like flow. Yeah.
And opportunities that were crazy impossible. Like, no one would pay me for that. they were there. People were like, you know what I need from you? I just need you to show up and do your thing. Okay. I don't even know what my thing is, but yes.
And that's important too, is being us is so natural, it doesn't really feel like anything. Carrie, what do? I don't know. I used to be asked all the time, what do you do? I don't know, but I was still getting hired and she's still getting hired. Like, sure, over time, you're going to come up with words. You're going to get more comfortable, more confident. You're going to see that what you do is actually helping people. But in the beginning, that's why I wrote that down. Like, it's going to feel like you've given up your paddles, you're going crazy and there's nothing to save you and it's going to feel really weird. And no, you're allowing your real energy to flow out into the world, and that's the special sauce that you have. Don't try to block that, right? Yeah.
Good.
I can't believe it's almost been an hour.
I know. Well, guys, that's what happens. I see Judith. She says late to the party, better late than never. I'm sure you showed up exactly on time to hear exactly what you were meant to hear. And she said, I've started over several times and it's always an adventure, right? And I don't know what the connotation is behind, oh, it's always an adventure or it's always an adventure. But either way, right? That's up to you.
I want to touch on that for a second because I used to have this obsession with starting over. Like I read a couple of my journals a couple months ago, back from my 20s and even my teens. This was present for me of like, all right, I'm starting over. And then as I got older, like, yeah, I can't just keep starting over. Like all this pressure on myself to like have a clean slate. And that sentiment I understand, because we don't want to continue the momentum, right? We don't want to continue like with the baggage. But the truth is that there's momentum regardless. And your higher self, right? Your multidimensional, non-physical energy that's like 99% of who you are is always relentlessly positively focused. It always has positive momentum going. So if you think about it, if 99% of you has positive momentum, exactly already manifested everything that you want, like you can relax. Like whatever baggage you've been carrying, not a big deal. Whatever negative momentum you got going, not a big deal. Like not a big deal. Not a big deal. Whatever you want is so much easier to have than you think. And it doesn't require, and I'm not saying that you did this, Judith, it just triggered that for me. Like I used to think it was like such a big deal to like start over, but I still was the same person and all the amazing things about me still continue. And I think of myself as the same exact person through my entire life. I had different vibrational levels, I had different perspectives, I had different circumstances, but it's still me. It's still me. And I have everything that I wanted back then. Like all the desires I had then can still happen now. Like we don't have to micromanage anything, and we don't have to put lines in the sand for ourselves. Like just start to feel a little bit better. Just feel a little bit better. And then you'll feel a little bit more better and a little bit more better. And I know this grammar is terrible, but like it's so much easier because we have all of this happening for us. Like nonstop train to everything we want is always going. It's always going. We're always on it. And whatever drag we feel in that current sometimes from our own making, not a big deal.
Amen, sister.
So thanks for all the hearts and the thumbs up and the happy faces and the love faces. Like we guys, oh my gosh. It's been a long morning, but we love you. We love connecting with you, and we're glad that what we talk about is helpful.
Yeah. And I've been feeling this. So inside of our coaching group, we had an intimate alien call this week. And I am still like kind of integrating everything that happened from that. And I'm really feeling into you guys and feeling such positive, relaxed, easy momentum in everything that you guys are attracting. So like this feeling that I'm feeling inside of myself, that I imagine you're feeling inside of you as a result of being with us here in this call, just keep milking it, keep returning to it.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I made a video yesterday with a little piece of that intimate alien call in it. So you're already on the same channel as it. Go watch it. Subscribe here. Tomorrow I'm doing another live stream of psychic readings for you. So stay tuned. And I love this subject, especially because it makes such a big difference in our lives. Like all we got to do is just expect better, feel better, and it'll happen. And it does.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you, Carrie. Okay, well, we'll see you soon, or we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.